Bonjour, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 146 on YouTube. Well, thank you guys for listening to all these episodes, some of these episodes. I appreciate the follows, the subscribe, the likes, the listening, and the donations. Which, by the way, if you guys want to donate towards the podcast, there is a link on my Spotify episode where you can actually make a donation towards the podcast. Anything is appreciated. Thanks, guys. I just want to get on here pretty quickly as I'm watching the Chargers Ravens game right now. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Chargers are trying to figure out how to play against this Raven defense. Offense is kind of sputtering right now. Um, it's weird because Lamar Jackson is the quarterback of the Ravens. And I don't know if you guys remembered, but when Lamar Jackson was coming out from Louisville, and he was one of the hottest quarterback prospects coming out of the draft, and Philip Rivers was actually the quarterback of the Chargers. Chargers weren't doing so well, and they were probably looking at a quarterback, but instead, I think what happened was the Chargers ended up skipping out on Lamar Jackson and ended up drafting Mike Williams, I believe. I think that's what happened. So it's kind of ironic because I'm watching this and, well, yeah, the Chargers did replace Philip Rivers eventually. They got Justin Herbert, and the Ravens are starting Lamar Jackson. Um, so hopefully the Chargers will break their two-game losing streak because apparently they've been doing losing two to start the season. They won two to become 2-2. They lost two to become 2-4. They won two, became 4-4, and then now they're lost two again. Now they're 4-6, and they're losing a very close game right now. And I don't know if the Chargers can actually stop the pass and attack of the Ravens. So quite possibly everybody is voting against the Chargers. I mean, I'm a little bit weary of this game too because I think the Ravens are the real deal. Um, so Chargers could be 4-7, but the history of the Chargers playing very close games, so it could possibly go either way. And the history of Chargers always making games exciting. So if you ever go to a Chargers game, you're always going to get an exciting game down to the wire. So maybe that's the case in this game. Um, Anywho, um, Lakers are doing pretty well actually, guys. They went undefeated 4-0 in group play for the NBA Cup, the first of its kind in-season tournament, and they clinched a spot in the quarterfinals for the NBA Cup, and they will probably be hosting a home game at Crypto.com Arena, formerly known as Staples Center. That's going to be on December 4th or 5th. And the semifinals game is going to be in Vegas, which is also the same place for the NBA Cup Finals, December 9th in Vegas. And uh, hopefully the Lakers make it to the end. Um, Lakers won yesterday. Lakers beat the Cavaliers in Cleveland, 121-115. So I am excited because I feel like this NBA Cup in-season tournament actually has accelerated the mid-season form for the Los Angeles Lakers. So they have the motivation and they can actually keep playing like this for the rest of the season. So I would say it's a good thing that came out of this. So hopefully they'll keep doing it since all these games do count in the regular season. So it just makes the regular season game a lot more meaningful, except for the December 9th championship game. Um, so technically you could be playing one extra game, but that's because you kind of work towards for it. So, anywho, um, So there's that. Lakers are playing the 76ers tomorrow. That should be a good game. It's going to be in Philadelphia, so the Lakers are on a bit of a road trip right now. Um, LA Kings hockey, they were doing pretty well. They just blasted the Anaheim Ducks 5-2, and they shut out the Canadians 4-0 on the road, I think. Um, so oh, you know, last night, big surprise. WWE just had their premium live event Survivor Series coming from Chicago. Um, of course, Chicago is the hometown of CM Punk. And guess what? Um, all the rumors that CM Punk was going to show up, well, it didn't seem like it was going to happen because they kept a tight lip on it. And um, Randy Orton was actually advertised to be returning at Survivor Series, which is kind of part of the storyline. But I noticed something about it, and they talked about having another member on the Survivor Series team for War Games, where you're going to have 5-on-5, double ring, inside a cage. And I noticed something that the wrestlers never said the name Randy Orton. So that gave the possibility that somebody is returning. It was Randy Orton as advertised, but you couldn't help but think that CM Punk was actually going to come back too because it's its hometown. Big event, hometown. What better way to show him off? But as it kind of went on, and you can hear some chants in the crowd, CM Punk, CM Punk. But once you saw Randy Orton, Survivor Series went pretty well. Guess what? To end the show, CM Punk comes out to his music after the last match was over, and it was such a big pop. And yeah, it's pretty cool though. Um, so I'm glad. Uh, I'm glad that CM Punk is back, and most likely he might work better with WWE anyway. So um, let's see. The women's War Games match. Uh, Charlotte, Bianca, Becky Lynch, Shotzi. They defeated Damage Control with Asuka, Bailey, Io Sky, Kairi Sane. Um, honestly, I'm pretty happy. It was a fun match. I would say that it was 8.5 out of 10. I would say the match between Dragon Lee versus Escobar was pretty good. Um, good back and forth match. Very good high flying match. Um, uh, what was that? Um, you got to see the Destroyer from Escobar, which is pretty cool. Um, and then I guess it was the winged driver finisher by Escobar to finish off the match. So you did see the power bomb, sit down power bomb from Dragon Lee. That was a very great back and forth match. I liked it a lot. It was an 8 point um, 8.5 out of 10. Gunther versus The Miz. That was a great match for the Intercontinental Championship. Great back and forth. Miz did a double groin kick, almost beat Gunther with the skull crushing finale, but Gunther kicked out, and Gunther did the Boston Crab on The Miz, and The Miz tapped out. So that match was about a 8.5 out of 10. Um, then we have the World Women's Championship between the champion Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark. That was a great back and forth matchup. Um, Rhea Ripley got her Riptide finisher on Zoe. Um, that was a great matchup. I would say that was an 8.7 out of 10. Rhea Ripley is still your champion. Um, she's pretty awesome. I can't believe it because like her music is pretty awesome. Her entrance is pretty awesome. The way she carries herself, the way she talks on the mic, the way she wrestles, she's hitting all cylinders. She checks all the boxes, and even the crowd likes her as a villain. So she's super popular, and she's just doing everything right. So she is deserving of being a champion. Could be for a while. So, and then of course you got the men's war games. Some great spots. Uh, Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn did throw JD McDonough off the top of the cage, and Randy Orton was in the match, and he was waiting for JD McDonough to come down, and he did the RKO. Um, that was pretty cool. Uh, uh, um, I would say uh, there was a moment where Randy Orton got all the members of his team: Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, um, Randy Orton, Jey Uso. So was it Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and Randy Orton. They all did the what do you call it? The DDT from the middle rope, um, where you hang your opponent ankles on the middle rope while you're holding your opponent in a DDT position, and all five did it at the same time. That was pretty cool. Um, and then, yeah, those are some great spots. And of course, the finish. Cody Rhodes got the crossroads on Damian Priest. Funny because Damian Priest has the same move as a signature called the what is it called? Um, is it called the uh, is it called the Last Rites? It's not called the End of Days because that belongs to Corbin, Baron Corbin, and it's not the South of Heaven because that's another move. So, but yeah, Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest has the um, same move where you're basically you hold your opponent's head um, underneath your arm while you are holding, I guess, the opposite arm, and then you twist yourself, and your opponent's face does twist with you, and it ends up hitting the mat hard. So they both have a thing called the crossroads. Um, so it's interesting when they both have the same move, but of course, Cody Rhodes did get it on Damian Priest, kind of ironic, and that was the pinfall. On you know They defeated the Judgment Day's team of JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Dominic, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. Um, so, uh, it was a fun match. I would say it was a 8.6 out of 10. And of course, afterwards, with the winning team celebrating, out comes CM Punk. So there is some footage where some of the wrestlers are not happy with CM Punk coming back. Uh, what's funny before this that before Randy Orton came out, Damian Priest had called out Rhea Ripley to bring his Money in the Bank briefcase so that because Seth Rollins is all beat up in the cage and wanted to cash in on Seth Rollins to take his title by pinfall. But Randy Orton's music came out, so that kind of thwarted the attempt by Damian Priest to do that. Randy Orton came out, big pop for his return, and Cody Rhodes' team ends up winning. And then you see CM Punk. So I couldn't believe it. I knew it was going to happen. Only the announcer said that Randy Orton was the only one coming back. I can hear it in the crowd. CM Punk chants all through all the arena, and the wrestlers never did say Randy Orton. So a lot of signs that pointed that CM Punk might be there, and how could he not? It's Chicago, and CM Punk was a free agent, and WWE is actually not run by Vince McMahon in terms of creative. Triple H is the guy who's behind all that, and Triple H has been able to bring back some wrestlers who were unhappy with Vince running things. So I think mm, uh, Triple H has created a work environment where wrestlers feel like they can express their character, work much better in this environment with other people in the locker room without having, being overruled by creative and Vince McMahon about how you want to do your character. So um, I'm glad that Triple H is the guy for that, and you know, the product seems a lot better since Triple H is the guy running it. So um, in a way, you got to show Vince that we're no longer thinking the old ways. Like, you got to be open to new ways of how to run the product these days and what the people like, and finding something that clicks with the crowd. So so yeah. Um, so I can't wait to see what happens. You can match CM Punk with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. The list goes on and on of who CM Punk can work with. And then you can kind of mix in some new matches for the championship bouts. So I'm pretty excited. So we'll see what happens. Um, so yeah, I also want to get on here. I wanted to talk about a comedy show I went to. I went to Pally Wine in Little Italy off of India Street. It's run by Kash Habib, weekly Wednesday show. It's free. And this time we had headliner Jarwan Nelson, one of my favorite comics in San Diego. And I'm happy. It was a good show. Um, Cash opened, brought my friends Dupree and Candace with me. Um, if I wanted to showcase a show, um, I would probably have Jarwan Nelson as a type of headliner. I probably would want them to see because I know that it'll be a good show no matter what. Because Jarwan Nelson loves to do crowd work, and his crowd work is gold. Um, so yeah, um, so Cash came out with some new jokes. Talks about Thanksgiving. I noticed didn't get a lot of laughs for his opening to warm up the crowd. So I would say, you know, uh, let's say Cash was a 7 out of 10 for his comedy on Wednesday night. Um, Next was Alan Henderson, great comic. Um, okay, Ravens just went up 10-3. uh, Gives a chance for Justin Herbert to try to do something with a minute and change. Anyway, Alan Henderson kind of had the same jokes. I don't think I remember anything new, but I do like the jokes he talked about. Special places to have sex. He talked about the rooftop. I laughed first, I think. Um, he said that it was pre wheelchair. Oh, he got some good chuckles. Talks about like, okay, guys and ladies, what would happen if your significant other were to come out in a clown costume? And then, the guy said that don't care if a woman is wearing a clown costume. It's a hot girl, right? But for the women, if the guy is in a clown costume, you hear a lot of, you know, responses like, I would run. I guess he also posed the question how hot the guy would be if to keep it on. And I guess I heard some say, like, no, not even. It's a deal breaker. So um, I like Alan's sets because, crowd work and you get some really funny responses. So he kind of honed in on it. So I like that. I would say, based off the crowd reaction, Alan Henderson was pretty much a 7.3 out of 10. So next we have Julia Jasunas. Jasunas. First time seeing her. I never seen her on flyers for Cash, so this is my first time seeing her anywhere in San Diego. She had a joke I remembered where she talked about how she had a roommate, but things got weird because she made out with her roommate and made the roommate move out. Then she said move out to her bedroom because apparently that's her boyfriend now. So that was a nice misdirection. Um, but overall, I didn't hear a lot of laughs or big reactions to her jokes. So um, I would say she was probably a 7.1 out of 10. So then out came out Crystal De La Rosa. I like her. She did replace Katie Thurston. Um, Katie Thurston I've only seen one time perform. It was at it was probably the Going Dutch show between Kane Holloway and Josh Nelson at the PB Backyard Kitchen in Pacific Beach. Um, so uh, I would have seen her again perform on Wednesday night, but I guess something came up and Crystal De La Rosa had to step in. Um, which is all good. Crystal De La Rosa, she always brings the energy. So she talked about her upbringing being part, I think it was like part Filipina, part Latina. So, um, So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Um, she did talk about um, kind of stuff like blowjobs and uh, I guess beds that are too high, so it will seem like you're just popping up and down. Um, so um, the Chargers fumbled again. Oh, darn. Anywho, so Crystal De La Rosa. So despite talking about all of that and bringing the energy, um, I would say Crystal De La Rosa, she is about a 7.8 out of 10 for a comedy. Um, and then you have your headliner, Jarwan Nelson. It did kind of start a little slow, but it really picked up when he talked about black speech, how a guy's junk kind of grazed his lips during pickup basketball. And I got some laughs to start off with. And it got more funny when he did the crowd work, talking to a guy in a wheelchair, talking to a lady that had like um, a lady that had like a kind of like a bunny ears on, or um, like one of those beanies that has like the um, fluffy like earpieces. So so yeah. Um, and then it got more funny because we were establishing that the guy in the wheelchair, you know, how he used to be a gangster, and then he actually asked my friend Dupree, um, where did Dupree get shot? And Dupree says he got shot in Iowa. And everybody laughed because Jarwan was actually asking where on the body did he get shot. And so I was laughing a lot because before Dupree said that he got shot in the abdomen, um, there's like ambiguity when you ask where did you get shot. And then, of course, your first initial response is to say that I got shot in Iowa versus I got shot in the stomach. So, um, so yeah. Um, so I would say that might have somewhat, saved the set for Jarwan for with the chilled crowd. So um, I would say Jarwan with that finishing kind of crowd work, I would say it ended up being like an 8.75. Um, so I like Jarwan because the fact that his crowd work, it's always awesome. And if you had a bad set, that saves it because it makes him a lot more funnier knowing that that was that was the you know um, his bread and butter. So anywho, guys, I'm gonna continue watching the Chargers Ravens game. Hopefully, the Chargers can figure some stuff out. It's a very low scoring game. So hopefully the Chargers don't have any more butterfingers. So the saying goes, guys. Boom! Tiggy Maximus signing off, baby. Right, talk to you later, guys. Have a safer weekend. I hope you guys have some good turkey.